We all have our own special, unique relationships with Bruce. He's got all these women loving on him. And, he's such an incredible girl dad. There's a part of him that, I know is just, he eats it up.
Sometimes life asks us to become someone we never imagined we'd have to be. We make plans, we build careers, we raise families, believing we know what the next chapter will hold. And then, in an instant, everything changes. Well, my guest, Emma Willis, knows that feeling all too well. After her husband, Bruce Willis, was diagnosed with frontotemporal dementia, Emma found herself navigating a role she never expected. Caregiver. So what began as a deeply personal experience has since become a mission to support millions of families who often feel unseen and alone. Through one of the hardest seasons of her life, Emma Heming Willis discovered a purpose she never would have chosen, but one that has changed not only her own life, but the lives of so many others. I'm Hoda Kotb, and this is my podcast, Making Space. First of all, happy birthday.
Oh, thank you.
You know
Thank
what?
you. I'm happy that, I'm happy we're still celebrating. I was thinking about this yesterday. Like when you celebrate a milestone like 50, shouldn't it go on for like a really long time?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, well, here
You
we
should
are.
be having a months-long celebration. Tell me what it felt like to turn 50 and what was that celebration like for you?
I really was looking forward to 50 because I have to say my 40s felt like a little bit of a doozy.
Yeah.
And I was just ready to embrace my 50s. I've heard so many wonderful things about, going into your 50s with much more confidence, kind of like a I don't give a attitude. And I really was excited about it. And the celebration was lovely. I, have not really been in the celebratory feelings of late, and I was unsure if I really wanted to do anything, but I had a friend of mine who kept sort of pushing and saying, you know what, you don't want to miss out on your 50. You have to celebrate in some form or fashion. And I really sat with that and I thought about it. And I thought, you know what, I don't want to look back and think, why didn't I celebrate 50? It is something to celebrate. And my mom and some friends put together this really lovely party at the house. They said, what are a couple things that you want? I said, I want to eat tacos and I want to have a margarita. And I want to be with my
Simple.
friends. And that
By the
was
way,
it.
I think what you did underscores something that so many people who are in the middle of a difficult time struggle with. And it's like, how can I have this celebration while this is going on? And I know one of my dear, dear friends, my best friend actually lost her husband. And I remember her navigating this time and I was watching her like get chipped away. And those moments that you would have celebrated, there's guilt that comes with it. There's moments you want to do something. You say, oh, but I can't. There's a million other things that I need to be doing for him. Do you or did you wrestle with that?
I always wrestle with it.
Yeah.
I think guilt is something that I am always carrying, but I've learned that it is really not helpful. What I know is I always go back to what would my husband want for me? And he would want me to have a big, fun bash. He would want me to celebrate my life with my friends and family. And that is sort of what I always think about when guilt of any sort of, comes in front of me. And I'm really happy that I did. And, we brought together my friends, some family, and it was just a really lovely, intimate night. And on top of it, it was the Knicks final.
Oh my gosh.
And they won. And,
By the way,
I would say about 98% of the people there were Knicks fans. So that was fantastic. And it was a great celebration.
I love it. I love it so much. So 50 for me was also a time just to reflect, to look back. And when reflecting, and I'm sure in your life you look back at the beginning of where you started with, where life started with Bruce. What was the thing you fell in love with back then?
Oh my goodness. I met him in like 2005, I want to say 2004, and we met at the gym like most people in Hollywood do, I guess. His time was before mine, and we would, sort of overlap. And, the things that I remember about him was just how warm and charismatic, how funny he was, but always really took the time to want to learn more about me, just more about who I was, about my life. And prior to that, I had never really thought about Bruce Willis. I grew up watching Moonlighting, but I was never like an action sort of movie fan. So when I had noticed him, I had said to my mother, I met Bruce Willis, and he's really a lovely man. And my mom was like, "What are you doing? You're engaged to be married." I said, "No, no, no." Like, I'm just, I am, yes, at the time I was engaged to be married, but, I had met him, and I just noticed that. And it wasn't until years later, after my, engagement fizzled, thankfully, that we went on our first date. And, I just really loved being around him. There was just something very warm, safe, and fun. My husband is just so full of life, and it was a really beautiful time. It was a really great time in our lives.
They say that we often seek out the traits we don't have in our partner. I think that's true of me as I look down. How did he help you become you?
Yeah, I mean, if opposites attract, that couldn't be more true than for my husband and I. He is very spontaneous. I really like a plan. I am very sort of type A. I think that he just really enjoyed life. And it's not that I didn't, but I needed structure. So I felt like we, in a way, helped each other, I think that what he has instilled in me today is to be a little bit more spontaneous, have a little more fun, where I can tend to sort of want to put things in a box. But as I'm raising our two young daughters, I really need to bring more of that into our lives, fun, off the cuff, a little wild is okay. And I really appreciate that he has given me that. And I try, his saying is live it up. And that's what I just try and remember all the time is to live it up.
Oh, I love that saying. Oh, I love that a lot. So as you guys were building a life and a family and kids and everything, of course, looks, just perfect. But when you were on the inside and you noticed different parts of what appeared to be his personality coming out in weird ways, tell me about what that was like, watching what was a sort of strange change in him that you couldn't identify or put your finger on or figure out.
Yeah, I mean, really for my husband, it was more so his language. I started noticing a stutter that he had a severe stutter that he has, talked about openly, that was quite debilitating for him as a young child. It started to come back. It's not that his stutter wasn't there throughout his life. He's just sort of learned to sort of manage it. But then I started noticing that he was not managing it anymore. So I think it was language, conversations that we were having that we'd had in the past, things that we were very aligned on, we weren't anymore. There was a lot of miscommunication, sometimes no communication. It was very odd for someone who is such an incredible communicator to all of a sudden not be one. And never in my wildest dreams did I think that was an early symptom of the diagnosis that he received years later.
It must have been, I was thinking about your kids watching this sort of lack of communication, or mom and dad aren't on the same page. They sort of kids sense when something is funky. Did your children notice that something was off, or did you guys kind of mask it?
I think there was a lot of masking going on. I think there was a lot of smoke and mirrors. You'd have to think that when our two daughters, when Bruce was diagnosed, they were just 8 and 10. So you'd have to think that those symptoms were happening prior. They were very young. They were still very young, but Bruce was still very engaged with them. It's not that he had to be having these very deep conversations with them, but just to be able to be the fun dad that he has always been. I think that is what they could feel and sense, that there was so much love surrounding them. And I think, as time went on, I was able to sort of bring them in a little bit more to kind of, just give them a little bit of information about what I was noticing, and that we were going to be at some point, going to the doctor and hopefully getting a diagnosis. So I gave them these little tidbits along the way, because I didn't want to all of a sudden land on a diagnosis and then just drop a bomb on them.
How does it go from like having communications issues and wondering like, what's up with him? Why is he acting like that way? To this might actually be a medical issue that we're dealing with?
I think, I get that question a lot. And, no one knows our people better than us.
Yeah.
If it's a parent, a spouse, a sibling, we know who our people are at their core. And I knew who Bruce was. And there just came a point where I was like, this is not my husband. Something is going on. And that was my cue to just kind of step it up and figure it out, and how to, get him to an appointment.
Was he willing, or did he say to you, come on, I'm fine, there's nothing wrong here?
I have to say, my husband has always really followed my lead on so many things, for better or for worse. And, he listened to me, and, I was able to speak with his doctor prior, and, just to be able to go in there in the most loving, kind way that would be supportive to him. And so, thankfully he's gone along with so many things, thankfully.
So you go in, Emma, to this doctor's appointment. We all go in whenever, everyone who's listening has some sort of cross to bear, whether they've had a cancer diagnosis or they've gone through something. When you walk into a room, you kind of play out what the worst case scenario might be. What am I walking into? Did you have any preconceived ideas about what you might be learning when you walked in there?
Yeah, I mean, this took a while, right? Like our first diagnosis that they had landed on was just aphasia. And aphasia was a symptom to a disease. But at the time, it was aphasia. A year later, they landed on frontotemporal dementia. And the variant of that was primary progressive aphasia, or PPA. Going into that appointment, I knew it was going to be the day that we finally received an actual diagnosis, but nothing could have prepared me for FTD. I'd heard of FTD many years before, decades before, and I remember it was a family friend that was going through it, and I just remember thinking how god awful this disease was. And through the years, I had heard people talk about different forms of dementia, and whenever FTD would come up, they would say, oh boy, that's the one that you don't want.
Why is that? What was it about that disease?
Listen, I think all types of dementia are hard. I think there is something about FTD where, it is the most common form of dementia for people under the age of 60. It can affect people through their behavior, language, or movement. if you are under the age of 60, you are in the prime of your life. You are raising young children, you are holding down your job. There are so many things that are going to be taken away from you. And, the variant of what Bruce has is communication. So, imagine what that's like to lose your words and your ability to communicate.
So you're in the doctor's office, and the words that you had already learned about FTD come out of the doctor's mouth. So then what?
I just remember my whole body tingling. I felt like I was free falling. I had this like wafting in my ears, and I couldn't believe what I was hearing. What I learned in that appointment is that there is no treatment. There is medications that you could probably do to manage symptoms over time. And if it's a genetic component, you'd have to think about what this looks like for family. There was a lot of really harsh information that was given, and we were sent on our way with no clear direction, no roadmap, no what to do next. And it was just a check back in a couple of months, and that was it. So it was a really traumatic experience. And I walked out of there with questions, very confused. At the time, I was just learning I didn't even really know how to advocate in a doctor's office. I really have always put doctors on such a high pedestal, which, they should be on, which I was raised to believe that. And I felt like that doctor would have told us everything that we needed to know. And I didn't feel like I could push back and say, well, what supports are offered here, or what can I do, or how do I think about our two young children? So I left, and really quickly I realized just how unsupported caregivers are.
Wow. So if you could have a redo of that day in the doctor's office, what would you have left with? What do you hope people who are getting a diagnosis today would leave the doctor's office with?
A simple piece of paper that has a couple of resources on it. Like for us, because Bruce was diagnosed with FTD, there is an association of frontotemporal degeneration. And even just one resource, that resource would have been so helpful for me, because I could go onto that website and get proper information about the disease, what resources are out there, what it is that I need, connect to a support group, a community. Just one resource would have been great. But a check back in a couple of months, that is nothing. That's
Right.
absolutely nothing. So the book, that I ended up writing, it's the book that I wish someone would have handed me the day we left the diagnosis.
Who was your first phone call after you got the diagnosis?
Who was my first phone call? I think it was our family. I think it was our intimate group, to just inform them. Honestly, it is such a blur. It is really such a blur.
Sure.
But I think those were sort of the first calls. Our family knew that was going to be the day. So I think, everyone was ready to hear and learn.
What was your call to action? So you get home, you walked into the doctor's office one way, you're leaving another way. And I keep thinking, like, in life, there are probably a handful of times where we're literally on our knees in your lifetime, whether you lose a parent, a loved one, there's a horrible diagnosis, something happens. And so what did you do when you knew now it was time to do something?
I knew very quickly that I wasn't going to allow this disease to take all of us out. I had two young children that I needed to continue to care for and raise, and I just kind of put my big girl pants on and, went to work. I started, doing a lot of research online to learn more about the disease, to learn more about services that we might need. I was lucky enough to be able to have sort of a medical company that was helping me also, put some really, important things together for us. But, I just got to work. But I think what's dangerous is that when you leave a doctor's office and then, your only choice is to go onto the World Wide Web to search up, any kind of disease. I mean, any kind of headache, you're like, why do I have this headache on the left side? Oh, it's a brain tumor. It's not the appropriate information. It's not the right information. And, I just think that we need more support. We need something more when we are leaving these appointments that are life-changing.
So how old were you? You said your girls were 8 and 10 at that time?
8 and 10.
So what was the conversation there? How did you navigate that?
They knew that was going to be the day. And when I came home, I told them that, Dad has a disease called frontotemporal dementia. We can use, FTD. And they were like, FDT, they couldn't get the letters right. And they came up with an acronym, Fantastic Turtles Dancing, to be able to remember, just the letters of in this diagnosis. And, what I had learned is just to wait to hear what the questions that they might have. And they didn't really have too many questions. They were 8 and 10. And I just gave them just enough in an age appropriate way. And, that was it for that time being. Just enough information for them.
I'm raising 2 girls who are of the age, they're 7 and 9 now. It's a lot just raising them. Yeah. The idea of having another huge responsibility, something that occupies all of your time and attention and concern. How did you do that? Like, I'm trying to imagine as I'm sitting here doing that. How did you?
I mean, Hoda, you just do, right? Yeah. You just do. You just show up. Again, like I knew that I needed to rise to the occasion. I knew what was important to me and what was important to my husband. And you just go, there's no other option. There's no other option. So
what did you physically have to do? What were the tools? How did you care for him?
One of the first things that I looked up was a dementia care specialist. I needed to understand more about me becoming a caregiver, what that looks like for someone with dementia. How do I learn something that I have never, had to do? And Teepa Snow was someone that was the first person that sort of came up on this website, and she was an occupational therapist, someone who is very knowledgeable about dementia, and she was really one of my first calls. And what I loved about Teepa is that she was so knowledgeable about FTD. FTD is a rare disease, but again, it's the most common form of dementia for people under 60. Alzheimer's is the most common form of dementia, but she understood, she got it. And I was able to connect with her to understand, really sort of build out this sort of the resources that I might need moving forward. And she was really extremely helpful and continues to be a big help.
What was a day in the life like for you then?
Oh, it was a lot, we hadn't come out with our family statement about Bruce, and there was still a lot of, a lot of smoke and mirrors, a lot of isolation. managing two young girls that were in elementary school, and just like you said, managing that alone was a lot. I'm running a business. I'm trying to be a daughter to an aging mother, a friend to others, and it was just a lot. I just felt like I could never get ahead. I was burning the candle at both ends.
Wow. You talk about, your day to day and your children. And I was caught by something in your book that I loved, and it was about a trip to Mexico. And this hit me in a way that just hit me deeply. You were planning a trip where you wanted to take your whole family to Mexico. Will you tell that story for me?
This was a trip that I'd been planning and had worked on with the neurologist, and, just making sure that it would be the right move. She gave us a cautious green light and said, go and good luck. Basically is what she said. But I felt like, this might be one of the last family trips that we would be able to take. So I dotted the I's, crossed the T's, and, we're about a week out. And I speak to a friend of mine, someone who is another caregiver. Her name's Franny, and her husband had young onset Alzheimer's. And, she had been my sort of lifeline, the first person that I connected to who had a similar story to us. And, I told her about this trip, and she said, "What are you doing? Why are you going to do that?" And I told her my why, and she said, "Emma, this disease will follow you there. You can't take someone who has a cognitive disease out of their routine, out of a place that they know. If you put someone with who is in cognitive decline elsewhere, this is not going to be the trip that you are envisioning. You are going to be maybe even more stressed." And I heard all of that, and I thought, what, you're right. I'm going to cancel this trip. And she says, "No, you and your kids are going to go. You guys are going to go, and you're going to enjoy this trip." I get emotional thinking about it because, I really wanted this trip for us, and realized that it just wasn't going to be possible. So I rallied sort of help that we needed at home for those 5 days that we were going to be gone, and the girls and I went. And, I had so much guilt and shame around that decision. But this was the first sort of respite that we had. And when we went, it was just really beautiful for the kids, for us to be so spontaneous, right? To go down to the beach, to, go for a walk, go for a bike ride, and not have to think. I mean, of course, I was thinking every second about what was happening at home. Is my husband okay? Is everything all right? But, the girls just got to see me be a little bit more carefree and just get back to just being a fun mom. And that was our Mexico trip. Very different to how it started, but it was right. It was the right thing.
And these bursts of joy, these bursts of, you call them cracks I can't remember, something beautiful. You have so many beautiful expressions. By the way, I've highlighted all of them. I'm like, oh, I love that. But finding these moments without, without feeling guilty, or what you're doing won't be affecting how he's feeling. How did you wrestle with that? I'm imagining someone listening to this saying, "I want to do something too, but I just can't get myself to pull the trigger."
Yeah, I think it's been a lot of hearing from others, right? Hearing from others that have been caregivers who have, given me the permission to be able to find the joy, that I must find the joy. During that time, it was so dark, and I didn't ever imagine that we would find any light along the way. But, I was told to, allow some of that in, and how important that was. And I'm not saying that life still isn't dark because it can be. It's very hard. It's very heavy. But I have learned to also allow those cracks of light to come in, to experience joy, experience laughter, without being guilty about it. You know, our people want us to experience our lives to the fullest. And I always go back to my husband, and that's what he would want. So I've learned to balance sort of the guilt, the grief that I'm carrying with me all the time with a life that I want to lead that is full and fun, spontaneous, you know, and that my kids can see these two sides. They see both sides of it. And that is what being human in, navigating this disease is for us and for me.
I bet your kids notice the difference in you over the days, because this do not make a parallel at all, but I have a little girl who has type 1 diabetes who I'm worried about constantly. When she sleeps, an alarm goes off. When she's up, I'm constantly on edge. And the feeling of that, your heart's pounding, run in her room, happens all the time. And I started to manage it better and understand it better and know when something's critical and when something is just a quick fix. Not everything is a 5-alarm fire. But as I've learned to manage it better, both my daughters have noticed in me a difference. Like they started calling me calm mom. I'm like, oh, okay, I like that.
Nice.
I know, doesn't happen often, but it does. So, but when we start to understand what we're dealing with, it's interesting because I feel like I'm regulating and they're regulating. Like I can feel it. Do you have anything similar with your girls as they're watching, how different you are today than you were at the beginning of the diagnosis?
Yeah, I mean, one of the experts in my book says, our children are connected to our Wi-Fi. And, when our Wi-Fi is buffering and slow and just not connecting, your kids are on that too. And they were definitely feeling that, just how all over the place I was. But what I had learned is that the best anxiety reliever is education and knowledge. And I think I went really deep into understanding FTD, understanding different forms of dementia, trying to understand how to be a caregiver, what to do, hacks, some tricks, all these things sort of came together, and that helped settle me a little bit. You start feeling like you're just more knowledgeable, you become more seasoned, and you're able to show up in a different way. I think that what's so important for caregivers to know in the beginning, it's so hard and you are trying to do so much. And over time, you will find your footing and you will look back and be so proud of how much you've learned, what you have done, how you are caring for your person, as well as, most importantly, learning how to care for yourself to continue to sustain this journey.
Your book, The Unexpected Journey, which is beautiful in so many ways. I love it because I feel like all of us want practical information. We want to know what you went through so we understand you're like us, but we really want to know the ABCs. Tell me I'm curious about the feedback that you got from other caregivers who are looking for a life raft, wanting something to hang on to, something tangible.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been such a beautiful experience, one, to be able to write the book. I would say maybe 30% is about sort of my story as a caregiver, but what I think is really important and impactful about this book are the, 25 experts and specialists that I've been fortunate enough to be able to work with and to be able to put their insight and wisdom into this book, to be able to share it with the next caregiver who might not have the time, access, resources to be able to figure this out. This, again, is the book that I wish someone would have handed me so that I could learn how to care for myself and sustain this in a pragmatic way. I think that book is very pragmatic. It's how my brain works. This is, they're all very obtainable things that we can do on this journey. And I am so grateful for their time to be able to have it in the book. I keep that book next to my bedside because it's one of those things you can open up anywhere and get some kind of information, something that you need as a reminder about caring for ourselves.
That's critical. What are a couple things, if I'm listening and driving now and would like to know, like what could I do that would help me as a caregiver? What are some?
I think what is really important that I didn't know early on is how important it is to ask for help early on, like right when you get that diagnosis. What a lot of these experts have said, every one of them actually, is that caregivers wait too long to ask for help. And by the time they've asked for help, this sort of ecosystem of care that they have put into place has bottomed out. And, we need to learn that caregiving isn't a solo mission. I think we've been, especially as women in this world, you show up, you do the thing, you get in there, you don't ask for help. When you do, you're a failure. That is an old narrative that we really, it is dangerous. It is a really dangerous narrative. So, asking for help early on, I think, is one of the most important things a caregiver can do. Because this isn't a solo mission, and caregiving is really bad for your health. It took a neurologist to tell me to see that, I was burning the candle at both ends, just not really caring for myself, missing my doctor's appointments. And he's like, you need to bring in help. You have resources that others don't. It's time for you to really think about that. And I did, and I was so grateful to hear about the scary statistics of caregivers dying before the person that they're caring for.
Wow. I
64,
didn't know that.
64% of caregivers are at risk versus people their own age who aren't caregivers. So, and the reason for that is because you're putting everything into your person. You are missing your doctor's appointments. You're not caring for yourself. You're not able to exercise. And why is that? Because we are doing this by ourselves. And some do not have the family and friends to be able to step in. But again, it's really about how do we bring our community in earlier? How can we try, I really hate the word respite, but how can we try? Because it's so important for us and for our health.
It's so interesting when you talked about like not asking for help. And I was reading about your mom, single mom, 3 jobs, and modeled. I mean, the reason you're so awesome is because of her, obvi. And also, they also teach us, and my mom's very much that way, determined, you got it, you don't need any help, you got it. I mean, I credit her for so much of who I am. And also, we need the other part. It's okay to leave that on the table and say, Ma, you did 90% great, okay? But
Totally.
that piece, I'm gonna have to check you on that.
Yeah, totally. It was really unwinding all of that. My mother, very self-sufficient. You get out there, you be independent. You don't, you do, just you. And I had to really, unspool that because I wouldn't be able to continue to sustain if I didn't have help.
What is love like now between you and Bruce?
Obviously it's different, but still, very grounded and rooted. I get to be with my husband, be really in the moment with him. And there is something that is so beautiful about that, like I'm not thinking about the future or the past. It's just, I can really just stop everything to just be with him in these moments that are, so fleeting, to be really able to have this soulful connection with him that really doesn't need words. It doesn't need that. It's touch, it's hugging, it's connecting, through our eyes. You learn to adapt to this disease. You learn to meet your person where they're at. And our life is meaningful and beautiful.
And how do you teach, or what has your husband's illness taught your daughters?
Oh my. I think it has given them so much resilience, patience, kindness. They are they look at life, I think, with a little bit of a different lens. They are caregiver. They have been brought up as, caregivers in this world, always wanting to help someone else. I think that what I think is that when I look at this disease and Bruce and our family walking through this, it's hard, but I always know that it could be so much harder.
Yes.
And, what our girls are seeing is how we surround their dad with so much love and support. And that is what they are seeing, that you can show up even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. And that's how they're being raised.
And by the way, beautiful job, not only raising your immediate family, but your extended family. Bruce's, former wife, Demi Moore, the kids. Like, it's like if you were going to look at what's the right way to do something like this, even though it's such difficult circumstances where, for what we get to see on social media, it's just like we're all loving up on him. Like, this is all about family.
It is. And we all show up for him in the ways that we can. We all have our own special, unique relationships with Bruce. And I think it just goes to show what a great human he is. He's got all these women loving on him. And, he's such an incredible girl dad. There's a part of him that, I know is just, he eats it up. But yeah, we all show up for him, and I think that's beautiful. And not just like our family, but also his friends, that come around weekly, that are there and laughing with him and bringing that sort of fun and joy into the house. It's, it's really heartwarming to see how many people continue to show up for him.
Love. My last question for you, we call this podcast Making Space, Emma, and I ask everybody this at the end. So if you had a day that was completely for you, you could open your eyes when you wanted, close them at the end of the day when you wanted, and fill the day with whatever it was that filled your cup. How would you spend that singular day?
Ooh, well, I'm an early riser. So, and I love mornings. My eyes open up around 4:30, 5 o'clock. Trust me, I try to sleep a little longer, but I just can't. I would wake up. I love going downstairs, having a cup of coffee, sort of figuring out like, what is my day going to look like? But on this special Making Space day, I would probably go into the gym, do a workout, because I know I always feel really good. Or actually, even better, I'm not going to go work out. I'm going to go on a hike. I'm going to go on a hike. It's like this 40-minute hike that I have close to our home, and do that. Probably come back home, get ready for the day, do something really fun with the girls. Like, we love Disneyland. We're like a Disneyland. I'm not like a weird like Disney mom, but like. But we really enjoy it. So maybe we'd go there. Like,
That's
I don't
fun.
know. We're going to go there. We're going to go have lunch. We're going to go ride on some rides. Anytime I can spend with the kids, they just bring so much fun and lightheartedness and laughter. So, with them, maybe in the evening, maybe spend some time with my husband and my mom and, or, go to dinner with some friends.
Yeah.
I love a restaurant experience. I love breaking bread with, friends of mine that I don't get to see. and probably end the night early because I need to be in bed early so that I can wake up early the next day.
Same. Yeah, I relate.
Watch some kind of show, have a snack in bed.
Oh, you eat in bed. Yes, thank God. I love people who eat in
do.
bed. I
I
know.
do.
I know people have phobias to that, but I totally am in it.
And
Okay.
the crumbs and all the things are in
Yeah,
my
there you
sheets.
go. Oh,
That would be my day.
by the way,
Simple.
you're an extraordinary human being. I loved talking to you. I hope people pick up your book and for all the good work you're doing. You know, they always say, like, we're only here for a short time. You might as well put goodness into the world.
That's
And
right.
you're doing it. Thank you, Emma. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Hoda.
Hey, thanks for watching. And don't forget, you can catch the Today Show every morning on NBC or take Today when you're on the go. Just follow the Today podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen.